Ukraine is a population of 40 million. It produces enough food to feed 600 million. Now, obviously, it's expected there's going to be an interruption in that food production. That's going to lead to a huge increase in food prices. We've always, for millennia, produced enough food in this state to feed the people of this state. But that doesn't mean that people didn't go hungry in this state because they couldn't afford food. Now, farmers are facing unprecedented costs. The biggest exporter of fertilizer in the world is Russia. I think, and Belarus is a major exporter as well. The biggest exporter of grain in the world is Russia, and Ukraine is a major exporter. So both the rising cost of grain and the rise of cost of fertilizer is going to have a knock-on cost to farmers, and they're going to have to pass, unless the government help with that cost this year, they're going to have to pass that cost on next year. I never suggested we'd have food shortages in Ireland. I said we'd have food shortages in Western Europe, and that's going to lead to huge price increases in Ireland. And I just wonder, is there a plan for that? Because what I don't want is to see in 12 months' time one section of the economy or our society pitched against another, that people are finding that they're being priced out of basic food products, and farmers are saying, well, I simply can't produce the food for any less because, prices are rising, but we know that farmers in Ireland are very much at the mercy of multinationals, and they're very much producing it on a very, very, very tight margin.
If what is happening in Russia and Ukraine unfolds, there is a real probability that the price of food will go up here in Ireland and in Western Europe. We've benefited from cheap food for a very long time, and I think the price of food is going to go up. The question is, how do we deal with that? And that's going to be about helping farmers with cost, and we will do that. But it's also going to be about incomes policy. And I think there has to be a recognition that if the price of things rises, if the cost of living rises, well, then incomes are going to have to rise as well. And I know when we wrote the budget back in September, we planned the budget based on the idea that inflation would be somewhere between 2% and 3%. And we have to acknowledge that when it comes to the next budget, we're in a different place. And that will have to reflect what we do in terms of pensions, in terms of the welfare package, in terms of personal taxation, and also in terms of incomes policy as well.